or substance abuse. I hope I am audible to everybody. Uh, like Olive had mentioned, here that the qualification that I have to speak on this particular subject, or let me say the greatest qualification I have to speak on this subject, share my mind with you guys, is a simple fact that I myself was addicted to substances in my younger days. And this addiction actually have taken such a toll in my life that I felt at a point of time that there was no reason, there is no point living in this world. And it had come to such a level where I had tried to take my own life. But it was by the grace of God that He used Youth for Christ workers in Trivandrum to hospitalize me and help me out in that situation. So I'm alive. And years later, I'm sitting here trying to open up my mind or my understanding on this particular subject of substance abuse. So let me welcome you all, my little friends, to this evening. I hope to have a very good time, or a relation, a communication about this particular subject with you all. I'm sure that all of you must have heard, anti-drug messages before, isn't it? You may have heard it. Somebody may have told you that, or perhaps you have seen signs on the board, or one way or the other, this message would have come to you about the dangers of using alcohol and drugs. For those of you who are users, on the packets of the cigarettes and on the bottles of the alcohol, all it's written, isn't it? So that message is there for all of us to see, and all of us have heard it, all of us have seen it. But perhaps, we would think, whatever, right? And continue with what we want to do without giving it a second thought. And it is a very common attitude, actually, this neglecting the information that comes to us about the hazards of drug abuse. It's a very common attitude. It's there. That's the duty of the government, or that's the duty of that person. He will say many things, but we will go about our business. And that's a quite common attitude. And I have thought about it, and one of the main reasons why this attitude is very much prominent among us is because we have seen that what they say it's very horrible, they say it's terrible, they say it's going to cause all these issues, all these problems. But then we see people who are using it, right? We have friends who are using it. We have neighbors who are using it. We have unknowns who are using it. We see other groups that are using it. But all this trouble, they say, you use tobacco and your mouth will fall apart and this hole will come here and out. We don't see that, right? And because we don't see that, we don't actually believe that, right? It is there, a stationary warning is there, but let the warning be there, it doesn't mean much. And when you look at your friends and your brothers and sisters, or your colleagues, or whoever is using, you don't see that sort of an effect in their life, right? They are doing very well in their work, or they are doing very well in their education, in spite of them using all these things, or they are doing, they are even good in sports, right? They are very good in sports. He smokes, but he plays such wonderful football, man. Like, he's a smoker, he's a drinker, but he's very good in these areas also. So it doesn't have, and so when you look at these people, they don't actually suffer the so-called ill effects of these substances in their life. And then there is that board which say, if you do that, this will happen. The picture is there, but nobody, it's not happening to anybody. So what happens is you will simply dismiss, right? Simply dismiss the possibility of it happening to you. Well, my dear friend, let me once again tell you that despite this popular understanding or popular perception, even a casual drug use or a casual use of alcohol or whatever substance can have devastating effect on our lives. And I want to share a bit about that to you all. You know? See, it's one thing to fall from the motorcycle or the cycle. It's one thing to fall. But then there is the sliding away also, isn't it? It is not just the fall that matters, but there is a slide also. Like that, when you get into the issue with, or when you get into abusing substances, whether it is alcohol or whether it is drugs, it will have some serious consequences in your life. And perhaps you are well aware of all these things, even as I'm speaking to you. You may know more than what I'm going to tell you this evening. But what I would, request you, my brothers and my sisters, is the fact that you would consider your life as you listen to me. That you would evaluate what you are doing or what you desire to do, if you are a person who's looking forward to use it, or if you are a person who is using, right? Look at your life and see whether it is worth it. I was, brought up in a home where alcohol could be seen everywhere, right? It could be seen everywhere. It's not a big thing, right? It was always there. And growing in such an atmosphere, in such a situation, it was never a taboo for me. It was there. But the reason why I started to, taste whatever the substances that I have used was basically because, like you guys said, like how the majority said, wanted to experiment it, or wanted to, kind of use it for the sake of entertainment. So it wasn't, so all these alcohol and all these drugs that I went into, it was all done basically for entertainment or recreation or experiments. Now, I believe that is the situation for every single person who goes into, abusing substances. Nobody says, nobody, plans, okay, let me become an addict. Let me straight away go and destroy my body. Nobody has a plan like that, right? Nobody has a plan like that. It's all a matter of fun, yeah. It's all for entertainment, just a bit. And so that's how every one of us starts, or every one of us have started. Right? None of us have decided to become addicts. And most of the time, there is peer pressure, right? Our friends pressure us behind, encourage us. There is motivation coming from our friends to do it. And so we don't want to be left alone, and so we try that. But what we should understand is it will never stop there, right? I have friends. I have many friends, even to this day, who used to do with me those days. I have friends who are still doing it. And if you tell them, if you speak to them today, they will say they are not addicts. They will still deny the fact that they are not addicted to it, but you will see them on high most of the times, right? Whenever there is a possible opportunity, they get high. But whenever you discuss with them, they'll say, I am not an addict. But you should understand, whether you start for entertainment, whether you do it for recreation, or whether you do it for as an experiment, it is not going to stop there. Previous Youth for Christ director of Trivandrum, once I was rehabilitated, always used to tell me, resist the first drink. Resist the first drink. Don't, if you lay your hand on it, you're finished. Right? So what, for whatever reason we get into it, it has only one meaning, that you are into substance abuse, right? You say it's for recreation, you say it is entertainment, you say it's an experiment. The fact remains that you have crossed the line, you have entered the gate. Now, what happens with a person like that is that starting as an experimental thing, entertainment thing, recreation thing, it becomes a casual thing in our life. It becomes casual. The use or the misuse of drugs, alcohol becomes a casual thing. And when it becomes casual, remember from where we started, right? We started as an experiment, right? As an entertainment. And now it has become casual. Now, a casual user is a person who always decides that even though they get high, they know where to draw the line, right? That's the casual user. He or she will always say, I use, yes, I taste it, I use it, but I don't use it all the time. I have a time for that. I have an occasion for that. I don't all the time, whenever I feel, I don't do that. I've got it under control. I know how to limit it. I will only use this much. And then they will say, I will only use it on such an occasion, on a birthday, or on Christmas, or on Easter, right? That there are certain occasions for them, and they would say, these are the days that I will slightly indulge in it. But I am always in control. It never goes out of my hands. Now that is the casual user. But this casual user became the casual user after beginning it for an entertainment reason, as an experiment reason. But now he's a casual user. It is no more an experiment. It is no more an entertainment. Now it has become a casual business. And being in the casual business over time, always giving the same mantra that I am in control. I never go out of control, right? Always saying that. But what happens to this casual user is that he gets promoted to be a regular user. Understand? Right? Experiment, entertainment, casual using, now a regular user. Now, what happens with the regular user, my friends, is, as I'm speaking, I don't know how many of us are here, perhaps more than 50, friends, but some of you are contemplating the fact that let me taste it, right? Some of you have tasted it, have crossed the line. Some of you are thinking that you are casual users, right? You are in control. And then some of you are regular users. Now, this regular user is a person who, like we said, who uses regularly, but still he is able to function in the society, right? He is able to go to his educational institutions and function there as a student, or he's able to go to his workplace and function there as an employee, or he is able to be a part of the family and function as a son or a father or a brother, or he's able to do all those things. And he thinks, even though I started for entertainment, but usually we don't think about it, but there is this reasoning happens behind our mind, right? There is this voice saying it's all right, continue. You started as that, but then you became a casual user. Now you're using regularly, but that is it, right? I'm using it regularly, but I am still in control. Why? Because I'm going to school, I'm going to college, and all those things that I'm doing there, I'm doing perfectly well. Right? I have good marks, not so bad, right? I have good marks. I am part of the cricket team, I'm part of the football team, I'm doing that also, no problem. But occasionally, or kind of started occasionally, but now the intervals are kind of becoming less. So in one way, I can say I'm a regular user, or you can say I'm regularly using, all day I'm using it, but still I'm in control. There is no problem in the institutions where I study. There is no problem in the workplace I work. There is no problem in my family. So everything is all right. But what this regular user is not recognizing or realizing is the fact that his body is a matter of chemistry, isn't it? His body is chemical in its nature. And the more and more we abuse these substances, the system gets short-wired. And so what happens is this regular user is slowly, or sometimes some people very fast, depends on the way a person uses and depends on the substance that they're using, is being converted into a chemical addict. A regular user, before we can, realize, becomes chemically addicted. Now, you see, my friends, there are certain drugs that we cannot kind of play with. In such cases, it is very fast. It won't take more than like 15, 20, maybe 30 days before we become a wreck. But some, it will take some time, right? It becomes a habit, then habits grows, and so and so. But then soon, whether it is, some people say it's only weed, it's only hemp, it's only grass, it's only ganja, or it's only cigarette, or it's only two pegs. But whatever is coming out of that is chemical. Your body is chemical, and there is a lot of chemical reactions that is happening, which should not happen. Right? So there is no substance that you can say it's only this. You can't say that. Some say it's natural. What natural? So this chemical reaction that happens in our body slowly drives us to become chemically addicted. And then on everything changes, my friend. The fun part is gone. Right? Is there a person, somebody at least here who understands me, what I'm speaking about? That fun part is gone, right? That initial trip was that we had is gone. Now it has become a necessity, right? Now I'm compelled to use it. I need it. Not anymore for pleasure. No. It's no more for pleasure, but I need that to survive. You see? Now, when somebody who reaches this stage, they usually deny the seriousness of the situation. I denied, you deny, right? And those who come after us will also deny. They deny that, I'm chemically addicted, I'm addicted. This is only that, we have umpteen number of excuses to say. But the fact is that, these ganja that we are smoking, or the cigarettes that we are using, or this, dope that we are shooting, or, the whatever we are putting into our veins or sniffing it up or whatever, is now fiddling with our chemistry, right? And now we are kind of, we need it. Let me put it another way. Now we are its slaves. See, look at the shall I say the paradox or dilemma? Look at this. We we wanted to use it for fun, right? We started using it for fun, but now fun is not there anymore. We wanted to use it to get high. Before, we wanted to use it so that we can get a high, but now we need it not to get high, my friends, but to be normal. To be normal, to function among the society, to be normal, to act normal, to walk normal, right? To function normally, we need it. Now, how did we start? For entertainment. One puff, one shot, one sniff. But then, casual, it became casual whenever we shoot them. Then, regular, I started to look for it. Then, I'm chemically addicted. So remember, there is no drug that will not fiddle with our chemistry. And according to the power, of each thing, it will, drive us out of the normal system faster. But faster or slower, it is going to happen at one particular point of time. Now we are slaves. Imagine. This is what these substances do to us. It makes us their slaves. Our freedom is gone, our liberty is gone. Right? We became their friends for a time being, but now they rule. Now we must have it just to be normal. I, as a person who have gone through it, I can remember it like yesterday. The effects that it can have on our life. You see, once you are chemically addicted, I want to go into the little details. Perhaps if some of you are going through it, maybe you would be able to identify. See, once we are chemically addicted, what happens to us? One of the main things that happen to us is that we decrease in our motor skills, right? We decrease in our motor skills. What does it mean? Decreasing in our motor skills. You see, every movement that we make, right, in our body, every movement that we make, whether it is our hands, legs, anything, it involves a group of muscles. Now, when we get chemically addicted, when we abuse drugs, these drugs go into our system and, kind of malfunction this wiring of these muscles. And when that happens, the motor skills, that means our movement, is severely affected. You see, when a man is very drunk or very high, we see how his overall momentum is affected, isn't it? But then what happens is, over a period of time, we don't need to be high. The damage will keep on increasing, that our motor skills will diminish in such a way that it will affect the way we walk, the way we speak, our ability to swallow, right? Of the movements of our eyes, you see, and any other thing, any movements that we do. This is the symptom of chemical addiction. Now, any person who's an alcoholic, this happens. Even a smoker, even a smoker over a period of time will be affected in their motor skills. You see how people will be very, when they'll be having a very beautiful signature, but after some time they find it difficult to sign. That is one thing what chemical addiction does to us, right? I have seen it in very young guys because of the usage, the frequent usage of dope. Also, our capacity to concentrate is completely gone. Over a period of time, you can't listen to what people say. You can't sit and watch a movie. You can't even sit and watch a movie unless you're stoned, right? I know that very well. Even a movie, we can't sit and watch a movie because without being stoned, it is not possible for us to concentrate. If you can't watch a movie, let alone what other people are telling you. Being a student, being an employee, all these areas, we start to malfunction because we can't even concentrate for a bit. We become unable to process the information that is coming to us and to react to that information accordingly. Now, this is something that is happening in us without our control. You see, this is what chemical addiction does to us. Our motor skills fail, right? Legs, tongue, eyes. Our concentration fail. Our memory, we lose our memory. Where did I keep it? How old are you? 23. You're wondering where you kept your key, motorcycle key. Where did I keep it? My dear friend, I have been into it, I have been out of it for so long, but these things have not completely left me alone, even now. You see, the effect, there is consequences. You put that chemical into your vein, there is going to be consequences, my friend. Don't think everything is going to be, there is going to be serious consequences. You can't remember, you lose your memory. You also lose your ability to coordinate. There is no more discipline in your life, right? It's gone. You can't take, you don't want to take bath, or even if you want to take bath, it doesn't happen. And we become so filthy in our daily living that, sometimes when we come to our senses, we wonder, what the hell, what is this? And it goes on to such extreme levels that you can't even imagine that people can live like that. You see, the total coordination is gone, whether it is about your daily disciplines or whether it is about your physical condition or whether it is about your work and your education, everything is gone. Now, why is this happening? It's all because of the chemical reactions that is happening in you. You and I can't control, my friend. Our willpowers can't control the chemical reaction that is happening inside us. You understand what I'm saying? See, if you're thinking, you have got however amount of alcohol I take in or whatever medicine I channel into my veins, my friend, you understand your will and your physical body strength can't control the chemical reactions that is happening inside your body, the fiddling that it does to your, with your systems. You can't help it. You can't do it. Right? So, you guys are so smart. Try to understand this. before, when you're doing it, you should understand, if you are a person who's using it, and if you think you're in control, you are badly mistaken. You're living a mirage life. It's an illusion, my friend, because inside it's burning. The wires are cracking. And that's what chemical addiction does. Destroys our motor skills, destroys our concentration, destroys our memory, destroys our coordination, and panic attacks. Right? Am I saying the right thing, my friends here? Panic attacks. What is perfectly normal for an ordinary person would be, panicking for us, right? Panic attacks are basically a type of an anxiety. But it overwhelms us. It pops out of nowhere and overwhelms us in such a way that we lost our complete control. Where ordinary people, simple people, normal people are totally at ease, we will be on the edge. Why is that happening? When you were asked to drive a car, right? Am I saying the right thing? Morning, wake up, take the motorcycle, go to the market. You can't even imagine going into the market. Right? Take the car, drive. See, that's why I said you need it now to be normal. If you put those into your veins, if you put it inside, whether it is a small cigarette or whether it is a syringe of heroin, but you need it now so that you can normally drive the car, right? Normally go to the market, normally start your motorcycle, normally talk to people. Neighbor is coming and calling, you don't want to open the door because you have not had your shot in the morning. Have you felt that, my friend? Because that is what will happen. You don't want to talk to anybody. You don't want to talk to your teachers. Don't want to talk to your parents. They come and tell you something. You scream at them. Go away. Close your door. Sit inside. It's all because of the chemical reactions that is happening inside our body. You see? And this is what will happen to a person who is chemically addicted. Then there is the psychological and physical dependence. Psychologically, we are dependent on the drugs. We need drugs for everything, you see. Physically, we are dependent. So where did this start, my dear friend? It was just a shot, right? But then finally, this is the end. You did it for a high, but then after some time, you don't need a high. You need it to be normal. See? You see, somebody say, those days they say, if you smoke this, you will feel high, you'll fly. Now they say, man, get me one shot so I can land. I can walk on the ground. Because I'm always high. I'm always on the edge. I'm always afraid. I'm afraid of the dark. I'm afraid of the light. I'm afraid to lie down. I'm depressed. I don't know what is going to happen with my life. I need one shot and I'll be happy again. You see, this is what will happen. This is what is happening in some of your life. This is what happened in my life. And this is what will happen to some of you who are going to go into it in spite of what you've been hearing from many places. See, generation after generation, right? Generation after generation, the youth, the youngsters have always cried, we need freedom. Give us freedom. Right? We don't want anybody to control us. We want to do whatever we want to do it. And there is a lot of voices around us encouraging us to do so, right? All young generation, in all the young, in all generation, was like this. I was also like that. There is always there is always something that enhances or encourages our desire to go deeper and deeper into dope and drugs and some sort of substance abuse. Philosophies, different philosophies that come to us in different form, right? Those days, I remember in my younger days, Pink Floyd have sung, "We don't need no education, we don't need no thought control, no dark sarcasm in the classroom. Teachers leave those kids alone." Those were real music. Those were like, real philosophy pouring out. And that influences and encourages. It encouraged me. And always looking for some sort of substance to enhance that sort of a thinking. You go into drugs and alcohol and some sort of. So it's there in all generations there. Right? But one thing we should understand, this is a entirely wrong master for us to approach for freedom. Right? If you think, you are in a difficult spot and you are, cornered by your family, or there is no other entertainment in life, or if you think, there is no liberty in your life, so why don't I do something which is really going to give me some freedom or a feeling, a sense of freedom? So I go into drugs. Start with a cigarette, a fag, a smoke, whatever you call it. Then you have a shot here, a shot there. Then roll up some ganja, right? Then one of your friend walks in and they said, "I've got this tab, works well with the discos. Yeah, you shoot that, you pop it up. And you think it's liberty, you think it's freedom. Yeah, you listen to Gessel's, man, you listen to, all these rock music, and you eat sweet things, and you watch big screen movies, all doped high, and you think it's liberty, it's freedom. But my dear friend, what's happening, what really is happening, is that you are being put on shackles. Your legs are being shackled, your hands are being shackled, and gradually, after some time, suddenly you realize that 10 years have left behind you, 20 years have gone. All those who were in with you have ran ahead, and you are dragging behind, shackled. There is no liberty, no freedom in drugs. There is no liberty, no freedom in using any substances, in abusing any substances, my friend. What will get you is they'll get you slavery, right? You will slave under it. My friend, just think about yourself. Are you, if at all there are any one of you who's using it, let me ask you something. If you deny the fact that that you are not an addict, I want to ask you something. If you are a person who is thinking about using, most of the time you are awake. Whether you are using or not is a different issue. But I'm telling you, whether you're thinking, if that is the predominant thought in your mind, my friend, you are an addict. I'm telling you, whether it is a cigarette or whether it is alcohol or whether it is, lines or whatever you're doing, right? Whether you're cooking and shooting, or whatever you're doing. If you are thinking about it, that is your predominant thought in your mind. You are an addict. You are addicted. You ask this question to yourself: is this what I'm? No, I smoke only cigarette, but every day I come into my home, I want to go out and smoke one more. You're moving into it, right? And if you are a person who's always keeping your eyes open for, if you're in the bus, you're moving in the bus, you're looking, You're not seeing anybody else, but you're always finding people who are using, right? You sit in a bus and you look at a junction, you look out, you find that person, you understand that he's using. You're in the train, you find a person, you know that he's using. And so you want to become his friend. If that is your mentality, my dear friend, you're an addict. You're always looking for people like you so that you can associate with them. There are so many other people you won't see. You're always an addict. Whenever he goes to a new place, we'll find where it is available. Because I know that, right? You take me across the nation. If you take me across the nation those days, you put me anywhere in any village or any city, I will find. And it doesn't take much of effort also. Because now my system has been entirely wired in a different way. I will see them, the users, and I will find them, I will befriend them, I will be their friend. Other friends are not my friend, the users are not, the non-users are not my friend. I'm not interested. If that is your condition, my dear friend, you are addicted. You are addicted. If you are a person who hoard or stock things that you can use, panpara, or whether what's it, hands or whatever, the chewing tobacco, kaini, or that snuff, or the anything that you stock up because you're afraid that there may be a time when you can't get it, you are addicted. You understand what I'm saying? If you are afraid that there is going to be a time that you can't, especially let's take this lockdown seasons, right? You're terrified by the fact that the bars are going to close, or the dope is not going to be available, or the cigarettes are not going to come, or or the weed is not going to be available, or the kaini won't be available. If you are a person who thinks about it and fears, and so you buy and you hoard it, or rather you stock it, I'll tell you, you are an addict. You're an addict, my friend. You see. And if you are into it, ODing, that means using overdose, whether it is alcohol, whether it is anything, using more than what you were using previously becomes a habit to you, you are addicted. You're ODing every day. Sometimes, I had friends, we used to do it, together for like 3 months, and then suddenly something happened, one guy dies. So there is a lot of commotion, we all spread, right? We don't see each other for some time. Parents are a big problem. And then gradually things settle. When we come back again together, another 1 year later, another guy dies. So ODing, not only on those chemical stuff, but even dope, right? You used to smoke this much, now you're smoking this much. Before you used to smoke one small BD, now you're using a chillam, right? All this is showing that addiction is growing in you, right? How much money do you, I was answering the same question when he was saying, how much money do you use to, too much. That's the answer, isn't it? How much money do you use? Too much, or all of it. If that is happening to you, my friend, if you are, keeping aside lumps of, all that you have, or more than you could afford to do that, you are addicted, my friend. You are addicted. And when you look into your own life, you see your life declining and diminishing in its quality, right? In relationships, right? When it start affecting your parents, and when you become a chemical addict, people start to recognize it. There was a question: does your parents know? No, only few friends, right? At least if you are. When I saw that, then I was happy. You know why? Because you have time, you have a great chance to turn. If you are a person who sincerely said that only my friend knows, or only only no, otherwise nobody else knows, then stop right now. Stop. You're at the edge. Turn back. You know why? Because once you're chemically addicted, you can't hide it anymore. It is obvious. It becomes an obvious thing, right? Or sometimes you will think that nobody is watching this. Just because they're not telling you doesn't mean that they don't recognize what's happening with you. You see? So my dear friends, turn back, right? It's time to think. And let me just close by telling you certain things that we can do uh, if you desire to sincerely take a U-turn. First thing that you got to do, if you know that you are addicted or if you are thinking about using it, right? The first thing you should do is you have to tell others. You have to tell others that this is happening to you. That means you got to stop hiding it. Stop hiding it. We have to be accountable because others have to know. If you are an addict, if you are going into addiction, if you are, you got to tell your parents, you got to tell your friends, you got to tell your, teachers or whoever you trust, you tell your YFC man that, Anna, this is happening to me. I need help. That's the first thing. That's the most wisest thing that you can do. And that is not an act of cowardice. Don't think it is a cowardly act. No. Just like how a chicken would run under the wing of the hen to save itself from the eagle. Is that a cowardly thing to do? It's a wise thing to do. It's saving itself, isn't it? If it stands there and opens its chest out to the eagle and challenges the eagle, within a few seconds, it is meat. So, my dear friends, don't be ashamed to do that. If you are going through undergoing such difficulties, and if you desire to turn back, first thing you should stop hiding and reveal yourself. Tell somebody who you love, who you trust, that what is happening to you, and try to take help. Learn about what these things are doing to you. Right? You have your phones in your hands, you have your systems. Go into it and study what these things are doing to your brain, to your nerves. Understand that. When somebody say it is harmless, don't believe that. There is nothing that is harmless. You see, do your research on it. Find out what it is doing to you. Realize that it is going to destroy your life and turn. Stop hiding and start learning about what is happening to you. You see, and also be prepared for the resistance that is going to come when you try to leave it. When you try to leave it, there is going to be serious resistance from your body, number one, right? Resistance from outside, your friends, your pals, fellow addicts. So you have to be prepared for that. There is going to be, so it's going to take some work from our side. So if you really want to, the only person who can really sincerely help a drug addict is the addict itself. Unless the alcoholic or the drug addict decides for himself that he or she is going to come out of it, nobody can help that person. I know that. I'm speaking to you from my experience. You can tie him up, put him in the rehab, you inject all the medicines into him, you let him free. He will be maybe perhaps sober for a few days or months or years, then he'll get back to it. The only person who can sincerely help an addict is the addict himself. And if you are that person, if you really desire your life to shine and not be wasted, you have to expose yourself. Expose yourself to those who love you. Maybe there is certain consequences. Maybe there is a lot of shouting, screaming, crying. But that's okay, right? Expose yourself. Expose who you are, what's happening to you, to those who love you, those who care about you, to your YFC man. Tell him that this is happening to you. Understand what is happening. You learn about it. and be prepared for the resistance that is going to be there. You have to have helps, right? You need to have people push you from behind, hold you from below as you go through this crisis. And finally, one more thing I want to say is, there has to be serious endurance, right? There should be endurance, and this we can't do alone. We need help, right? Recovery, we need help, right? If we have crossed certain boundaries and if our body is seriously damaged, then we got to have medical help, right? Otherwise also, if it has not gone that level, also still we need people to whom we can be accountable, right? Because an addict can't be trusted. If I'm an addict, I can't trust myself. Another person can't trust me. So we need somebody accountable. So to whom we can share our concern, what's happening, to who can have the freedom to call up and say, where are you? Where are you now? You are here? Come out of that place. Right? We need people. So we have to submit to that sort of an authority where we are accountable. Expose yourself, learn about it, be prepared about the resistance, and be accountable. Be willing to be submissive to someone who can hold you, guide you, and push you through it. My dear friends, there was a time in my life when I had turned to alcohol and drugs, to solve several crises that I had in my life. There was lack of peace in my life. There was something all missing in my life. I want to set meaning to my life. I want to take total control of my life. There was loneliness that I wanted to deal, being lonely in the crowd. What all issue any teenager would face, I faced. And I went into it headlong. Serious damage, even to this day, it has got serious damage to my body and my mind. But there was a time, there was a day when I happened to be in a place, sitting on an old iron chair. I heard this message about this one person called Jesus Christ, about what this person had done for me. And if I want to, what can happen to me through what he has done for me 2000 years ago on the cross of Calvary. I heard it and I looked at myself and I saw a very dirty man, a damaged man, a man who doesn't have much future ahead. And I sat there and I was thinking, how, if he's saying, believe in me, well, how am I fit to do that? Because I'm so dirty in my heart. I'm so damaged in my soul. All these things that I am doing, the life that I'm living, I'm so dirty. How can I approach this person? But then I realized that there is no other way I can go to him except like how I am. And if I go to him like that, if I go to him as dirty as I am, as filthy as I am, yet he will take me in. Yet he will cleanse me. And as a person who had nothing to hold on, I have lost everything, every hope. My dear friend, I took that. I took that hand that was offered to me. And I can tell you, after several years, being a father, being a husband, and being a good friend among many youngsters and men and women who are going through similar experiences like mine, I can tell you that if you want to experience true freedom, it is him alone who can give you that. Not the dope, not the drugs, not the alcohol. So I hope these things that I have told you have made that would have given you some idea about what drug addiction and drug abuse is. We can keep on going, but I don't want to drag, but let me come to a stop here. It's not a good thing. Be careful. Entertainment becomes casual, becomes regular, becomes addict. Okay? So we are all there. Especially Youth for Christ is there for you guys there in Pondi. And around India, YFC is functioning. So wherever you are, my dear friends, approach whoever you would like to. But I would just want to say that Youth for Christ is there for you guys, and grab that opportunity and fix up your falling apart life. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Thanks for sharing the different parts of the addiction. I really like the fact that Anna spoke about how we start with just experimenting it. We tried out of curiosity. Maybe some of you don't try, but again, you might see friends who do it. And I think this flow chart that Anna explained, that it starts with an experience or an experiment, then goes into entertainment, that we do it for fun. Then you become a casual user, then a regular user, and then the process goes on. I think when we talk to people who are our peers and friends who basically say that I'm just doing this to experiment it, I'm just trying it out, I'm just doing it for fun, I think that would really help us. One thing that I really gathered from what Jacob Anna was talking was the fact that this addiction is basically a slow fade. It doesn't happen overnight. It starts and then it slowly starts to build momentum, and we need to pay attention that little steps that we take away from life, before we know it, we just walk a very long way, even though we are making these small steps. So it's very important for us to pay attention to those small steps that we take. All right, we're going to start. We're going to open up for question and answer. So Anna would request you to open mentimeter.com, I'm sorry. And then I'm just sharing it with you all. The passcode is 61405073. All right, 61405073. www.menti.com and 61405073. All right, so there you have it. So we're just and I was going to just share my screen. You can ask questions, and both myself and Jacob Anna would be happy to answer these questions for you. Give me a second. I'm just going to publish this. All right, there we have. It's open now. You can ask your questions on Mentimeter. And how to help a friend who is addicted? That is the first question. Jacob Anna, can you take that up? How should I help my friend who is addicted?
Yes. The first thing, my dear friend, that you have to make your friend understand that, like I said, as I entered before, that he must first accept the fact that he is an addict. Without his help, we can't help him. Okay, without your friend accepting the fact that he needs help, we can't help, because otherwise we can force him into some sort of him or her into some sort of a program, but that will not be completed, right? First thing that your friend got to understand is he have to accept the fact that he is addicted, and from there we can take it up. Okay, so this is the first advice that I would say. How can you help a friend who is addicted? Help him understand that he's addicted, help him to confess that he's addicted, help him to be submissive to those who are willing to help him. That is the first thing that you should do.
Is there anything else that I can do as a friend, Jacob Anna, other than if my friend accepts that he's an addict, what else can I do?
Yeah, then we have to see what is he doing with. I mean, is he an alcoholic, or is he into some sort of other substance, or is he into higher chemical things? So accordingly, we got to find out who is there in our context to help us, help him medically. if there is a medical need necessary, that must be provided. If it is not necessary, then he should be given proper counseling and guidance. And their accountability has to be placed on him. He has to become accountable to someone about his own life. That is where he goes, what he does, who he meets. So it is a process. It is not something that you can prescribe as in one thing. It's something that we got to work with that person in different areas of their life.
Okay. I think Jacob Anna is also, we are trying to tell you is that we basically cannot give you a kind of a standing operating procedure, to say that this is what you do, because like Anna mentioned, we will need to know what type of a substance he's addicted, at what position is he in terms of his addiction. So I think we would need some more information. But to start off, I think we can basically start by listening to your friend, making him understand where he stands in terms of his problem, and then maybe you can guide him to an expert. We would like to mention that Jacob Anna is available. We're going to share his number on screen. If you want, you can get in touch with him. Anna is already helping a lot of young people who are having these issues. And it is also important that in some cases, you might need to approach an expert. So that would be our answer as of now. Why should I quit when I'm not addicted to it? Jacob Anna, over to you.
Yeah. This is what I began, by saying the first thing that I said was, this is how we all begin, right? Why, I'm doing it for entertainment, or I'm totally in control of it. But then there is a time when it will be too late to turn back. So it is the best that you quit immediately when you can, before you get into the.
Right. So, if you had listened to what Anna basically mentioned, even I mentioned that it always starts with curiosity or with an experiment. Maybe if I'm going to take alcohol or as an example, you don't know how deep you go in. So it's a slow fade. So we would really encourage you to not look into this. So go to the next question. After my breakup, alcohol helps me to forget things. So Anna, so if I'm going through a breakup,
yeah,
and I find comfort in alcohol, how do I handle it?
Yeah, but ask this question to yourself: does alcohol really help you to forget, or does it enhance that feeling? Right? Ask this question to yourself. Actually, what alcohol does is that it will just make you feel miserable and give you a lot of self-pity. It doesn't help you forget anything. Do you forget when you drink? No, you will be singing songs about it, and you will be singing about how beautiful her eyes were and how long her hair were and all those things. You don't really forget, isn't it? This is a misconception. Alcohol, what it simply does is enhances that, it gives us an illusion, and we live in that world. And then the moment it goes out of us, then once it falls off, the kick falls off, we again run to it, just so that we can actually be miserable. That's all. I don't think alcohol will ever help any person, because I've seen so many, men who are into alcohol because of broken relationship, but all the time they'll be talking about that broken relationship itself. So how is it that they have forgotten it? Ask that question to yourself, my little friend.
And I just would like to continue on that question. We find a lot of movies and videos where they say that, they basically portray in movies to say that if you are in a love failure, you should drink, or you should smoke, or you should go into drugs. It basically takes your mind away from these things. So that has been portrayed on the screen. So as a young person, how do I handle it, Anna?
Yeah, that's a very sad thing. But, give a little bit of thought into it. You look into a movie where somebody become alcoholic. Okay, look into a movie where somebody is into drugs because of a broken, affair. What is that person speaking about all the time? He's speaking about the broken relationship only.
Yeah.
Right. He's singing songs about the broken relationship. He's singing songs about her and thinking about her. So it is a foolish. It is just a foolish. It is an eyewash. Presented to us, but it is not going to help. So I believe You got to be sober. You got to be realistic in your thinking. And in such instances, when you lose somebody you love, if something has happened like that, you got to seek help from somebody who can advise you and counsel you and lead you through in such instances, rather than trying to sort that out by yourself. You see, there are people who really understand you and understand your problem in its own weight. Everybody doesn't laugh at you. Again, let me point Youth for Christ to you. You have brothers and sisters there. You can approach them. You can tell them about your difficulties, and we all have faced such instances, and we really take these things seriously. Don't go into those things. It is not going to give you any consolation.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you for that answer. Just to add on to what Anna said, everything that has been shown on media is not the truth. In fact, they portray it in a very bad light. And from my thought process and from my experience, what I've seen, one problem cannot become a solution to another problem. That is something that Anna would like to add. So even when you think about, not only in terms of a breakup, but even in terms of anything else, when you face difficulties in your life, please understand that by taking something which is negative, that negative cannot become a positive for another problem. So remember that. We'll go to the next question very quickly. Can I continue when it is not affecting others? For example, it's not affecting anybody, it's not affecting me. I think we've answered this question again. I think that's what Jacob Anna was talking right from the beginning. It may start like this, but as it's a slow fade, as it continues to go in, I think you will be affected, your friends, family, and every relationship will be affected. So it is better to stop and turn when you have time. So I think this question we have already answered both in the session and in the Q&A. So we'll skip that one. How can I overcome it even when I'm having a vision in my life? So I think I'm not sure about the question, but I think the person is having a vision, having a target or a goal. But how can I overcome it? Why should I overcome it? I'm not able to get the question. All right, we'll quickly move on. Maybe I will request a questioner to give us some more information on this one. Can I have some drinks as social drinking, office parties? Will I get addicted?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Everybody wonders about it, And, what I want to, it's my personal opinion about it, I would always suggest that you stay away from it, because as far as I am concerned, because I'm a person who have been heavily marred and scarred by alcoholism, I would never, advise anybody to, even to have anything to do with, strong drink at all. Because whether it is social drinking, and I've never seen social drinking staying as social drinking all the time. There is going to be a time when that boundary will be crossed, because alcohol is liquid fire. You can't play with it. And I don't agree with the fact that somebody won't get drunk or will always be in control with it. Because as far as I am concerned, as far as my association with these men go, I have never seen anybody who is in control of alcohol. At one particular point of time, whenever that is, they will lose it. So my opinion, my suggestion about this question is that please don't go into it if you are not into it already.
All right, thank you, Anna. Now, I just would like to add on to that with my personal testimony. I'm 35 years old, and till date, I have not tried any alcoholic drink. I worked with Citibank for about 8 years. I worked as a banker with Citibank, and in all my office parties, there are always a pressure where your boss comes and tells you to drink. They propose a toast, and as a part of the management team, you need to have a drink. So one of my Christian friends, who is also my senior manager in that same company, he taught me that in those office parties, just pour yourself a big glass of Coke, drop a lemon onto it, and put a lot of ice. And you can you can call it whatever. It will look exactly like any other drink. So in many office parties, I used to just fool people. They are very, very senior people, and they will not accept no for an answer. So this was a very easy hack. I used to just pour myself into a very big cup of Coke, fill it up with ice cubes, call it on the rocks or whatever, just a drop of a lemon wedge, and the whole thing looks very authentic. So I would encourage you and would want to give you that as an hack. If you have to do some social drinking, try this on the rocks Coke. All right, let's move on. There are people working hard for their family growth but addicted to it. How can they overcome it? I think this question is say they're trying to say that they are having the person is really having working really hard. Okay, can I request Nishant to not scribble on the screen, please? Nishant Sagar, I would request you not to scribble on the screen. I can see that you're scribbling, and I've been patient with you all along. Thambi, I will say this screen like Nishant. Okay, thank you. So I think this questioner is basically asking us this question that what about hard-working people who do manual work? So maybe they are having a little bit of drink, really helps them.
Yeah, see, but the question is there are people working hard for their family growth but being addicted to it, right? So when they are addicted to it, it's finished. Whether they are working hard for it or whether they are working, they are not working, it doesn't matter. If they are addicted to alcohol, if they are addicted to anything, that is not going to be good for their family at all in any way, right? So just like any other addict, that person also have to be dealt with, and all the steps that any other addict would take to save themselves from their addiction must be taken by that person also. There is no excuse, my friend, for addiction. There is no excuse at all.
Yeah. And just to add on to it, if a person is really working hard and the money that he's going to spend on his addiction can basically help him to bring his family back up. So that would be our answer. Quickly moving on. Can I drink when I'm getting adult or mature? I think we already told you, any form of an addiction or any form of a substance, if you're not into it, please don't get into it. So whether you're small, old, or really old, it doesn't really matter. So quickly moving on. I don't have anyone to care for me. I'm alone. Why should I avoid drugs or alcohol? When I feel this is the one that gives me joy. So I think this is from a person who's struggling with loneliness, and he's just asking us this question, only drugs is giving me happiness. So what do I do?
Yeah, friend, I also thought that. I also had thought that, and I also have done all these things that you are doing, my dear friend. And I'll tell you, at the end of the tunnel, that's not what you're going to get. Okay, you're not going to get what you signed for. But I would tell you this, wherever you are, look for, if you are in Pondi, kindly get in touch with Olive, speak to him. Don't be shy about it. All of us have gone through a crisis. It's because we don't open up, we don't tell anybody else that we have to fall into all these things, right? There are people who are there to help us. You should understand that. There are people who care for you, right? See, so this whole program is done for people like you, right? Whoever you are, don't hesitate to, get in touch with Olive and speak to him. And I'm sure that he will be able to help you out with it. There are other brothers and sisters there. They will give you a helping hand. And all of us are strugglers, man. All of us. We have all gone through it, right? So let us help one another in this. Please come. Don't hide. Don't hide. I told you, hiding away is the main problem. You hide away, you can't get out of this. You have to expose yourself. You have to, you have to say, this is me, right? This is what is happening to me. So help me with it. If you come out, you will get help, right? Alcohol will never give you joy. It will give you a sense of joy.
I think that's spot on there. We would love to reach out to you. We are putting both Jiju's, Jacob Anna's number and my number as well on the chat box. So if you really want to reach out, we are there to help you out. So speak to us. We would love to speak to you. All right, we'll quickly go on to the next question. When does an addict come to terms to acknowledge? I think it will vary from a person to person. If you have a friend who is an addict, like Anna mentioned in the first question, the first thing that we need to make him realize that he's an addict. He needs to acknowledge it. So we basically cannot tell you when will he come to acknowledge. Some people don't even come to acknowledge their addiction. Even as Jacob Anna rightly pointed out in his message, there are Jacob Anna's friends who used to drink with him. They're still drinking and doing drugs, and they still don't acknowledge that they have a problem. So we basically cannot answer this question. We would say that it will differ from person to person. But if you are a friend to an addict, then make him understand that he has a problem and he needs to seek help. Quickly moving on to the next one. We have 6 more questions to go. Is drug dependence as same as drug addictions? How can a parent play as a caregiver role to drug dependent children? I think if a person is suffering from some form of a pain, when you give drugs which relieve them from pain, just an example. So how do we deal with it? Is that also an addiction?
Anything that is used other than the prescription of the doctors, other than that is prescribed by the medical people, and if you and I tends to become hinged on it, then that is addictions that we have created for ourselves. Now, suppose there is some sort of a drug dependence that is happening as a part of treatment, then that should be what will not be a greater problem, because we have the doctors with us who can help us to deal with these issues. But if you're speaking about your child or your son or your brother or somebody who is into addictions, there are certain ways a parent should behave and deal with these issues. But because of the other children in this program, in this meeting, I would not speak about that publicly. Kindly get in touch with us. If you are a parent, if you are a brother or a sister to somebody who is suffering, we would give you the guidelines about that. But I don't want to say that publicly, because there are other kids, youngsters here in this group who may take that for granted. Okay, so please get in touch with us. We would give you some understanding about it as far as we can.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. The Jacob Anna's number has been given there. I think you guys can contact Anna. Anna is also available on WhatsApp. So you can ping him up and then get an appointment from him and talk to him. Once again, I would like to re-emphasize that Jacob Anna is already helping a lot of young people at different stages of addiction. So like he rightly mentioned, there are certain things that we don't want to share in this meeting for the benefit of others, in the sense that we don't want to say things that you don't know, and that becomes counterproductive, if I can say. So get in touch with him, and I'm sure that Anna will be open to helping you guys out. The next question is interesting. It says, as you explained about the 4 stages of addiction, which is experiment, entertainment, casual, and regular, can you give me an idea on how to break that chain? For example, if I'm at stage 2, I'm a non-believer. How do I break this chain?
Yeah, see, whether you are a believer or whether you are in any stage, it just makes easier for you because you are in the second stage. Because once you have gone deeper and deeper into it, it's going to become difficult. But in any stage, the first thing is to understand, is to accept the fact that what you have actually done, that you are addicted, right? That is the first thing that you should do. And then you should get in touch with somebody who you can be accountable. You understand? You can't be hidden away. You can't be behind the screen. You can't be, somewhere away and, deal with the addiction. You got to expose yourself to someone who you can trust, who would keep your identity secret or personal, and with who you can talk and share your concerns. And only by constant, communication with that person, only we will know whether you got to have medical treatment, or whether you should have counseling, or whether you should have any other sort of treatment. So first thing is that you have to expose yourself. You have to come out of the cocoon and say, this is me. I am the person who I am addicted. So find somebody who you can trust. And I always point, if you are from Pondi, please please feel free to get in touch with Olive.
Yeah, just to add on to that, Anna is basically saying, get someone with whom you can be accountable, so a mentor who can help you. as you mentioned, you're in stage 2, which is basically you drink for fun or you drink for entertainment once you meet your friends. When occasionally, once in a while, you might be consuming. But we would really want to emphasize that don't go down that path. When you don't know when you really get stuck onto it. So it's better to turn back as early as possible. It is better. So get in touch with people who can really help you with this. So once again, we are available. We're listening, and so is Jacob Anna. And then the next question, it says, what if I drink once a year? Does it mean that I'm addicted? The answer is no. It does not mean that you're addicted, but we would not encourage you to go down that path. I think we have covered this question again. It is better to stay away. What is happening once in a year could change, could become monthly, weekly, and then you never know. So it's better that you exercise. Yes, Anna, go on. Yeah.
Let me add one thing. But if you must drink every year, you are addicted.
All right. Okay. So if there is a compulsion to do it once in a year also, I think that's a broad spectrum that Jacob Anna is bringing. All right. So we've covered this question. So maybe just don't go into it. Next one. Doctors say 2 pegs a day is good for health. Is it true or is it correct? Kindly share your views. Anna, over to you.
I've actually, I've seen it. Many people say doctors, Baranti and all that, right? I have a lot of doctors who are my friends, but none of them will tell you this. Okay, this is a general idea, but a little bit of alcohol will keep you healthy and strong. I don't think those. I don't believe this. But we have different views on different types of alcohol. That is entirely different. We will talk about it another time.
Right. Hey, just want to add on to this. Sometimes I've also come across a few things like this. Even people say that people living in colder countries, they drink. It is required for them as part of their stabilizing their body temperature and things like that. You need to understand what is applicable there may not be applicable here. And even in those scenarios, when I was a kid, I was thinking that every Westerner will basically drink. And then later on, when I got people as friends from foreign countries, I realized that we do have people who don't drink. They have other methods to basically keep themselves warm. So you really need to understand, if you want to get an excuse, you can get a lot of excuses like this. But our suggestion or our whole point of this session is to let you know that it's better that you don't go into these things, because once we get stuck, then the recovery becomes really difficult. So you don't know where your addiction will basically start and where it will take you. So that's our point. So better if you're going to take 2 drinks per day for the sake of your health, 100% I'll say that by a matter of very short time you will be an addict. So better let's not go into that. All right, one more question. Can we consume wine? I'm just happy that the questioner did not add, can I consume wine at the altar or with Holy Communion? All right. Now, again, as Anna said, there are different types of drinks, and we don't want to go into that right now. But to be very honest with you, if that is going to get you drunk, I would not say that's the right thing. So think about it. Anna, maybe you want to add to it, and then we'll close the questions.
No, just wanted to say that, there are a lot of good things in this world, right? We can misuse anything. And if a person say, can I consume wine? When that question, what is the intention of the question? What is the purpose of consuming it? What is the motive behind that question? Do you want to get drunk by drinking wine? Then the answer is no, right? Then the answer is no. You can't drink wine. Now, are you speaking about taking Holy Communion? Yes, the answer is yes. So I think you can understand the motive behind Can you eat? Yes, you can. Can you glutton? No, you can't, right? Can you have sex? Yes, you can. Can you become an adulterer? No, you can't, right? So it depends on the motive and purpose of your question. So if you're thinking, or if you're asking me the question about can I consume wine so that I can get drunk? No, you can't.
All right. So I think that sums it up. No more questions. So once again, we would like to thank Jacob Anna for being here with us. And thank you for sharing your time and your expertise on this. Once again, we have Anna's number available on the chat box. It's 808-9428-678. Anna is available on WhatsApp. You can contact him, and I'm sure that he'll be happy to get in touch with you to help you. We are also available here in Pondicherry Youth for Christ to help you guys. So if you want to get in touch with us, we would love to speak with you as well. So once again, we would like to thank each and every one of you who were part of the session. I think some of them have left in the due course of the meeting, but that's all right. So keep in touch with us. There are some more programs coming up. We have the next program coming up on the 26th of this month. We have a session on addiction to pornography. The flyers will be out very soon. So be in touch with us, and we will send you the flyers out as well. So thank you very much for joining in. We'll see you again next week. God bless you. Thank you, Jacob Anna. God bless you too. Bye, guys. Thank you. Good night.
Bye, Anna.